G'day, champions. Must have forgot about the stream. Come on, give me some credit. It's been a shit week, but I wouldn't forget the stream. How are we all? Is anyone there? We've got 15 viewers. Looks like we're going live. Morning. Looks like we've got about 30 seconds latency. That's pretty much on par with usual. So how are we, legends? Oh, Penny boy, you can focus. Hey. Just waking up the Penny boy. Aloha. How you going, Emilio? Just sent my gains. B Ambule. Jay Foster guitar. Hal, Ken, Richard. G'day, Liz. So it's been a pretty shit week. I've done like 3 amps all week. Just everything's been either a massive showstopper, like a part that's just not unobtainium, or just things blowing out as usual. Silverface saga continues. So I'm gonna finish excuse me, I'm gonna finish this one off later today. Just I don't want to do it on stream. I want to test it, play it, make sure everything's good, see how these valves go. This is the Princeton reverb. It's all the work's done. I've just got to double check everything and then power it up. Let's get you blinded by some chassis reflections. So yeah, full rebuild on this one. I reused probably 50% of the components. All these blue caps are likely good. But yeah, I had to fully remove everything, clean everything, scrub the hell out of the board and all of that like you saw, but I just had to stick in and reassemble. The videos have taken up way too much time. I've been getting nowhere every day, just fucking around with videos, so I've had to just go ahead and do the work and just do a quick update afterwards, because doing the detailed videos just really slows me down. But yeah, all the mains wiring's redone. Left the heater wiring in place. I checked, there was no melted insulation where it was critical. Redid the mains wiring to be, up to scratch. Replaced the RCA socket that was a 1/4-inch jack. So I'll change that on his foot switch if he actually has a foot switch that's got a 1/4-inch jack on it. New bias supply down there. And a few little tweaks and tricks that I will implement on mine when I build mine. So we might have a few little exciting projects coming up over the Christmas break. I'm just probably going to not finish any of them, but we got some Tube Amp Dr. chassis here. They're JTM 45 chassis, but the plan is to use some of these bad boys. I've got 2 of them. They just turned up from Mouser. 290 GZs from Hammond. I've got to put a slight enlargement on the actual cutout. They just don't fit by about 3mm. The overall dimensions are right, but it's like corner to corner, the diagonals are right, but they need to have like a bit of a curve in them, so I've just got to slightly enlarge them. And these transformers are very neat and tidy, because I'm not using the JTM 45 with a rectifier valve. I'm going to solid state it, so they don't have the 5-volt tap, but they're basically just heaters of 5 amps and high voltage. So the only thing I'm worried about is it was advertised as 240 volt, but it actually says 220, so it's probably going to be a bit high. Yeah. When I ordered that, it said 240. I've only just noticed that now, 220. So the voltages might be a little bit high across the board. We'll see how we go. What's a couple of extra volts between mates? EL34s can handle it. They'll be fine. So the plan with them is to use Dwayne's Hoffman boards, but hot rod them a bit, make them a high gain beast, and put them in one of my cabs. Just 50 watt high gain weapon. 2 of them. Hope I'm not clipping. Am I clipping? The only thing I'm worried about is they don't weld the corners, so I might send them off to get the corners welded if it's an alloy that lends itself to that, because that might rattle. Once everything's fixed in place, it'll probably be alright, but I don't like the fact they don't weld the corners. It's a bit shit. But I didn't want to go getting full chassis made up from scratch for this one, because I just sort of wanted to pump them out with what I've got on hand. And just make the faceplate, essentially. So that will be fun. Here's a Princeton Reverb chassis that I purchased ages ago. Never got around to building. There's the reverb bag. Bit of cardboard to back the reverb tank. So this will be pretty similar to the one we just did. I assembled this and then got really busy with work. This was like before I was full-time. So it's literally sat there for years. And I'm going to do it differently. I'm probably going to throw this out and make a fiberglass turret board with a more optimized layout than the standard Fender setup. And I assembled it, and then over the years, excuse me, I've needed parts, so I've harvested them back off the amp, so it's got all missing bits and pieces. But yeah, it's time to get that done. I've built the cab at home. It's assembled and ready to go. I've just got to cover it. I've been waiting to cover it because I want to do a video on Tilexing. I'll get ripped to shreds because people are like, don't you know you use hide glue? Don't you know you just swear at it and it sticks? Well, I had lots of problems making Tilex work and stick properly. And when I decided on a method that works for me, it's one that will probably people will disagree with, but whatever. What's new? So there was that, and the Super 6, which is pretty well done. I had to depopulate sections of this because the board again was conductive, and tried to keep it as original as I could, but I didn't really. I probably, with the customer, should have given him some options for voicing, but because it was in such a bad state, sort of wanted to just get it up and running again, and then consider some voicing options after that. So at the moment it's built, what's the model number? Hang on. Fender being Fender, it's not really an exact model. It's somewhere between them. So this is doesn't give you a model number. Okay, so it should be drawing number 010182. This amp. So it's got the weird phase inverter and everything, which I'll just show you. So it's got the weird values in the phase inverter and everything. 47 case plate loads for the PI, and the different values. The only same value is the 470 on the tail. Normally that's a 1 meg to 22k. The feedback network's the same. It's like an AB763. bias feeds are different because it's got the bias balance. I've left that in. I was going to go and change all this stuff, but I spent so much time on it already. I might just restore it to how it was, and then if he wants to modify it after that, then we can sweeten it up a bit. But so yeah, that's the international one. Yeah, so that was a recap. Removed sections of the board, cleaned the board, redid the bias supply. Tried to get in and clean the chassis while I had some stuff out. But yeah, just trying to keep the cost down on these. But that one already took more than a whole day. It's just the time just evaporates when you're working on these silver faces. It's just everything you look at, and this grease on the sockets, had to clean that off. And I think it was Vaseline. That was the recapped board. Silicon them in place. The resistors that weren't drifted were left in. Remove the mains cord for now just to clean up that wiring. And it had the fuse neutral and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, I'll finish that one off later today as well. Hopefully today's the day that I just get everything finished, but knowing my luck, I'll have some other weird problem that will only be evident when I power it up. It's been that kind of week. Then I had the Kenwood KA 6100 amp, which I recapped on the last stream, I think. So that had several leaking caps. Just decided to do a full recap because he wants it to last forever. And probably like 20% of the solder joints were cracked and or dry. Got it back together. Something else was wrong. Oh, the relay needed its contacts cleaned, but you can actually take the cover off that and clean that one. That was fine. Worked well after that. Then the master volume was playing up. Now he said he had it since new and never had it serviced. Really? Because when I took apart the volume pot, or had a close look at it, someone's mangled up the wipers. So see if you can see there, Panny Boy's focusing on the bench liner. You can see the fingers there all mangled up. So I don't know if someone got in through the cover. I mean, you can see the ones there and try to mangle it, but yeah, that one's fucked, so beyond recognition. So yeah, 100k linear dual gang pot, but it's got a loudness tap 50%. Oh, this one's measured at about 40, but should be 50 looking at it. And that's a bit of a showstopper. So you can either disconnect the loudness tap and then find a pot that suits the dimensions. It's also got 40 detents in it, so it would feel different, it would work different, loudness control wouldn't work. So I'm trying to track down a pot that will work for that, but there's a place in the States that sells them for similar models, but they're like 200, 250k, and they're like $200 for a single pot because they know they've got the market cornered and they're doing the capitalist thing. But even they probably don't have one that suits. So meanwhile, this guy's ringing every couple of days asking how I'm going with the search, and I'm like, got no news to tell, buddy, or I'd tell you by now. So that's fun. Anyway, when restoring old Fender amps, does it make sense to replace the fiber board with a fiberglass turret board? Rob, just cleaning them generally does the job, but if I was building one from scratch, I'd use fiberglass. Yeah, usually leave it up to the customer to decide that. It's easy to remove the entire board, store it away in case anyone wants to reverse it if you do end up swapping to a fiberglass board. used in twin reverb, bandmaster reverb, showman reverb. Are you talking about the phase inverter there, Emilio? As a soon-to-be Fender Restore customer, I was wondering if it made sense to ask for the fiberboard replacement. You'd be talking pretty big dollars there, Rob, because you got to lay one out. You got to think about how the layout can be improved. You got to probably design it in DIY LC or something, and then drill the fiberglass, and then turret it, and then rebuild it from scratch. There's probably a whole day there. If you're going to use the amp and you want it to be bulletproof, I'd say go for the replacement. It's going to be more inherently reliable than the original fiberboard. I found that the fiberboards are fine if you don't like live in a really humid place, and you just leave the amp not turned on for ages. That's what really, two things bugger it: moisture getting into the thing, but also just being dirty. And sticking to the wax. Once you clean the wax off, you're pretty well fine, because that's what is doing the conducting. So, but yeah, there's ways the layout can be improved over Fender. And if you're building one from scratch, you could do things like use radial caps instead of axials, because they've got the numbers on the wall for what am I trying to say? Days are numbered for axial caps, so don't use them in new designs. Are you listening, Mesa Boogie? Or are you just going to do a Mesa Boogie and keep eating fucking paste and crayons up the back row while everyone else is building real amps? So let's get into some diagnosis, champions. Oh, this thing's fucking heavy. This thing has no right being this heavy. Morning, Travis. You've got a 100-watt TSL, so I think you know what's wrong here. Should have been a class action. They should have had their fucking ass handed to them on a platter, Marshall, but somehow they sleazed their way out of it and didn't get sued to oblivion, and they should have got sued to oblivion over their conductive board issues. Really, what a scummy company to not do a recall. Scum. Almost forgot my fuck off sign. I gotta turn that on. It wards off evil spirits and fuckwits. What's up, B-Rad from Tennessee? You know, things are up. The sun's up, so here I am. Hoffman sells AB763 replacement boards. Yes, Hoffman are a good option. So he's optimized the layout, but again, I think he just keeps using the axials. So if you're going to do it, you may as well go radial there as well. Yeah, I tried to find the link to the fuck off sign, but I think the site's changed. Huh? Still got the business card that they put in the box, pinned up to my pinboard in the garage. But I tried looking for the website and it doesn't exist anymore. Or it leads to another one that sort of just has the LED ones, which are lame. LED neon's lame. I want high voltage, baby. So we had a massive heat wave last weekend and the start of this week. Now it's gone back to normal. It was a bit weird. Just been reconfiguring the shop to fit more stock in. I'm giving DV Mark another chance after I had some failures earlier in the, well, late last year. I had to return some. I think DV Mark are good at solid state, but they can't make a valve amp save their fucking life. I don't know if they're built in a different factory or what, but the solid state stuff seems to be built at the same place as the Mark based stuff, and it's reliable. So we've got the powered cab from DV Mark, so people can use it as a pedal thing, like the kind of people that would use a Line 6 Helix or whatever. They can just plug into the powered cab, which has got a neodymium speaker in it, and I've got their little acoustic combo 801 or whatever they call it. Check the reverb tank, because that's always been screwing me recently. I'll put an amp back together and then the reverb doesn't work. The old valves don't look cooked. KT77s. Supposedly. Logos are still red. So that's a good sign. So what I might do is establish whether or not it's got the pale board of death, which it does. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, I see. Alright, now I know I've been flogging a dead horse in this regard for years now, but once you got one of these boards, you replace it. So someone's gone through and modded the living fuck out of it. Drilled holes, run wires, removed traces from the board, added capacitors, added a trim pot, added resistors, flown stuff above the board, and I guarantee it's still got the same problem. If you have bias drift on a TSL or a JCM 2000, you replace the board. That's the only fix. Alright? You heard it here. And that way your client won't have to pay to get it fixed properly later by someone else and then never come back to you, because that's what's happened here. This tech probably charged about what a board replacement would have cost, and it hasn't fixed the problem, and he spent hours on it, and now the customer will never go to him again. So that's what you're dealing with. So what I might do is fire it up and see if we can establish an actual symptom and measure it. I'll check the HT fuse, because people have got a habit of just putting a larger fuse in the HT position on these things as they blow them. 2 amp. Yep, it's supposed to be a 1 amp. Alright, 2 amp fuse in the HT, so it's probably never going to blow until damage occurs. We'll take that out. What's the mains fuse? Don't buy a JCM 2000. You can. You know, they're not brilliant amps, but 2 amp in the mains, which is correct. T2A. But if you get them for like $100 and then put a new board in them, sweet. Or if they've already got the new board, you're probably sweet. But so many out there don't still. And Fender will stop building them one day. So if you see them, you should change them out on site while we can still get the fucking things. Because we won't be able to soon. Leaves are falling here in Maryland. Next 6 weekends are going to suck. I live in an oak forest. Oh, you'll be busy, Rob. Has it been dry, or is it like, you know, the leaves fall and then they become that matted, you know, decaying leaf matter? Depends if they actually listen. I tried that at least. They already one messer, so they are literally, likely to have a cognitive bias without getting another. So we're talking about, recently read a comment somewhere that someone said that now Gibson owned Messer, they would stop buying their amps. What? I wondered to myself, is it even possible for Gibson to make Messer amps any worse? Yeah, I don't know. The time will tell on that one, eh? Might accidentally make a better amp. We'll see. You got any opinion on the Electro Harmonix MiG 50? They're good sounding amps, but they've got some really weird components in them. The older ones, anyway. I don't know what the new ones are like. There's not many out here, but the one I had in, all the parts were like ex-Soviet. Like all the caps were Russian made and shit. And the wire was really delicate. Focus panny. The wire was really thin and weird and delicate. The pots had really thin, like foil, like leads that would snap if you looked at them, and the valve sockets were shit. But once we sorted that stuff out, they sounded really good. I'd lean Soldano or Friedman if I had the dollars for the next one. Yeah, instead of buying 3 shit amps, just save up and buy 1 good amp. It sounds easier said than done, but or just sell your bad monkey pedal and buy three Soldanos. Now they're gone back down in value, haven't they? Alright, so should we fire this thing up and see how it responds and what it's doing or what it's not doing? I can almost guarantee they probably didn't fix the problem with the speaker output jacks, because a lot of techs don't know that. But we'll see. Let's put the valves back in and give it a 1 amp fuse. Now, can we even access the... No, so they moved the bias trim pot to a point where you can't get to it. All the amps running, which is cool. Don't really trust anything on this thing. I don't even know if I want to fire this up. I mean, the guy was using it, so what's the difference with me turning it on, well, measuring currents and stuff, as opposed to him just turning it on and yelling at it? There's a nice covering of dust over everything, and it sort of looks like MDF sawdust. This shit makes my eyes itchy just looking at it. Brings back memories of cabinet making. Oh, chat's just gone away. Why did that go away? Okay. That's never happened before. Chat just crashed. Docs. Chat. Yeah, we're back. It's a waste of some nice belts and sockets that they've installed there with long leads. They've replaced the sockets. I wonder who did this. Is there a sticker? whoever did it looks experienced, but they're in denial that this problem requires board replacement. They're swimming in denial. Get out the angry red variac into the current meter. IEC lead. Longer one. Yeah, it's been a weird week. Like, just people bringing in stuff for, oh, can you restring my guitar? Or like, it's missing a string. Can I have one string? And then you look at it and like the bridge is coming off. There's just been nothing that can be resolved. Everything's been a stymied shit show. All Electro Harmonics 12X7s. You bought the shitbox variac. Nice. What's going on, Brendan? Love the latest videos. I had to take the Rivera video down. I don't know if you saw the community post, but I got a bit carried away with making videos as opposed to making amps really good. So I had to listen back and channel the green channel. You can hear this fuzzy undertone as the note decays or as it gets pushed hard, and yeah, everyone commented, oh, that doesn't sound right, and listening back I'm like, yeah, you're right, it doesn't sound right. Why the fuck did I let the customer take that? So I sent an email to the customer and said, look, I think your red channel's good, but I think your green channel, there's something still not quite right there. Do you want to bring it back? And he was, oh yeah, no worries, yeah, I'll bring it back. Okay, in the meantime, you can use it. It's probably not going to hurt anything, but yeah, I want to dig deeper in that because I think something's off on the red channel. I mean, Rivera's sound a bit like arse. I don't know why they're so revered, but something's even worse than a Rivera there. So yeah, he's bringing it back. But I pulled that video. I'm going to edit it with a preface it in the next one and then do a third episode on what I found. If indeed it was something wrong and not just a Rivera sounding like us, because I've had like 2 Riveras, right? So I don't know if that's just how they sound and they're not the greatest preamp, but it sounds like something is a bit wrong. So I want to dig a bit deeper there. All the static voltages were fine, like what you'd expect, but something might be going out when you actually play it. So I need to dig deeper there. Part 2 of the Fender amp was practically gutted and needing a complete. Part 2's out, Brendan. Part 3, are you talking about? Part 2 I released about a week ago. It's something like amp full of ectoplasm or something I called it. Alright. I'll just get me meters and measure the primary drop on the OT, on the DL. And get my cord wrapped around the valves. That's fun. Alright, the white one and the purple one, then the blue one, contrary to what's usually the case, the blue one is the center tap. Get blue to purple on that meter. And blue to white on that meter. We'll get our super annoying LED reflection off the undershelf lighting. What's the resistance there? That rings a bell. 16.3, 16.7. Let me just write that down on a little notepad here. Bring the voltage up. We're drawing 11, 12, 20 watts at 60 volts, 30 watts. Hearing relays click. Let's bring the voltage up. Watts, so I don't think we've got a short. Oh, still got the meters on ohm. Is it starting to conduct? That's good, isn't it? Point 0.3. All right, we've got a pretty heavy imbalance there, but that could just be a reduced voltage. Let it level out. Drawing 80 watts. Let's plug in a speaker. That'll be a smart thing to do, wouldn't it? Okay, so we're starting to draw some current now. 80 watts. Let's leave it there. It's about 200 volts. Let it stabilize. Looks like it's biased really cold, actually. Channel switching's working. Everything's starting to conduct. There's a bit of hum there. Let's that's drawing about 100 watts. That's about what you'd expect. So let's plug that straight in the mains. We know nothing's nuclear. Settling at about 100 watts, and we've evened out a bit on the output current. Let's plug it in and have a play, see what it does. This bloke was pretty keen to just replace that board. Alright, so the preamp seems to be working okay. Needs a bit of a clean of the pots and stuff, but it sounds as I recollect the JCM 2000 sounds. Now you can see the current there is slowly increasing. We're at up to 0.7 volt now, which if we measure the plate voltage, still drawing 110. I'm watching the power meter on the wall. 485 on the plates. So we'll say 7 divided by 16.7 ohms equals 42 milliamps. Divide that by 2 per valve. Multiply that by, what was it? 485. I've already forgotten it. Fuck me. 485, yep. 485. It's only 10 watts. What's the KT77 again? I think it's just a 6L6 in wolf's clothing, but KT77 data sheet. Things are smelling a little bit warm. Maybe it's just not been turned on for a while because it's not drawing a hell of a lot of current. Anode dissipation, absolute 32, we'll call it. Design max 25, so it's the same as an EL34. So it's running at 40%. So let's let that cook a little bit and we'll just keep an eye on it. What I might do is do the min-max mode. If they keep beeping, we've got a bias drift issue. Can you hear them? Sweet Twatter has the EHX MiG-50s in stock. I'd probably just go for a second-hander on them, Rob. Coffee tastes a bit bitter today. What have I done? $7.99. Let's see if we can find a gut shot, champions. MiG 50. MiG 50 gut shot. Try and find a modern one. That's an old one. So the old ones looked really, they looked old, you know. Google's just fucked up their whole image search thing. They're really shit now. Every time some online platform updates, it gets worse. Like every time they revise Facebook, it gets worse to use. I don't know. Are the people programming it just that far removed from actually using it that they just don't even know that they're fucking it up? I don't know. So having a look here, Sovtek MiG 50, no way. A review that's got a gut shot. Wow. So you can see they just look old school. Shit image, that's great. There's that one. There's another old school looking one. Have we got a modern one? Oh, yeah. Alright, so they've got through plated holes. They've got what look like Zircon carbon film resistors. That's fine. They've got cute references to whatever that is. I can't remember. Don't know, man. I haven't actually personally had one, so I couldn't really comment. But they don't look too bad in the scheme of things. Like, looks like if they do need work, it would probably be doable. The traces look reasonably girthy. Quick connects everywhere, but that's what you get for that price point. They look like PCB, probably alpha 16mm pots. So we've gone up to 113 watts and climbing. Yeah, I don't know. If you can get one cheap, probably worth buying to check out. Other guys might have another opinion that have actually dealt with them before. Like, I don't know if they've got really dumb shit on them or not. But if you're technically minded, you could probably sort that out anyway. It's just more photos from a different location. That other person probably pulled photos from here. What? Guitar gear forum. I don't understand. What the fuck is this? What? Shop. Shifre's live product details. So this is free ship. What the fuck is this? View topic. Okay, so this is just pulled a website from a forum and then advertised it as a product. And you can choose different women's and men's site. What? The internet is so fucked. It's becoming useless. Oh my god. Anyway. Right. We've had some peaks up around 0.9 of a volt. That's probably from mains fluctuation. The chat just jumped as it does, and it's gone back to top chat for some reason, even though I set it to live chat. Remember to set it to live chat, otherwise comments will disappear for no reason, because I don't know what the deal is with the top chat thing. It probably makes sense if you got 5,000 people viewing, but yeah. Top Gun. Is that Top Gun? Ghost Rider? Google Sounds City Amps. You have a new follower on Bookface, mate. Yeah. Great. Scam sites, yeah. They're just automatically generated scam sites. So weird. Like, does anyone actually click them and purchase a product? Like, when it's clearly just pulled a photo and description from a forum site and then advertise it as if it's a product. Like automatically artificial intelligence-y. I don't know, that's weird, man. So sick of scams. I'm so sick of our government doing nothing to curtail them. I got a set of sunglasses yesterday turned up unsolicited. So now someone's got my details as a brushing scam. Look up brushing scam. And they're sending me fucking $2 rip-off Ray-Bans. Like, how do you stop this shit? And what else are they using my details for? They actually had Michelle's phone number, but my address. So I reckon she's been buying shit from fucking, just not dodgy, but she's buying shit from like cheap sites. I don't use Amazon at all for this reason, because this fucking Amazon's full of scammers. Prob's trying to sell a t-shirt with a selected picture. Yeah, but why would you buy a t-shirt with a fucking photo that's been automatically pulled off a forum? Like, so weird. Yeah, but brushing scams. So I don't know if I'm gonna get a bunch of fucking Chinese crap now. I'll just smash it with a hammer and throw it in the bin. But yeah, they're fucking shit. Alright, so it's not running away just yet. The chassis's not really warm yet though, so what I might do... So the first thing that strikes me is you've got your plate. So what they've done, they've isolated the grids by drilling the board. They've removed caps off the board, removed the grid stoppers off the board. The heaters are still on the board, and the plates and screens are still on the board. So they've isolated and flown all the grid connections right over to the phase inverter valve, and they've linked the two. Linked the two plates and removed a trace from that board. Maybe the trace had arced or burned. Yeah, it looks like there was arcing to 3, 2, 1, pin 8 on V, whatever it is, the last one. They've used cloth covered wire, and they've used some orange drops. So let's apply a bit of heat, see if things change. Just got the hot air gun on 200 degrees. Just hurrying things along as if the amp's been on for an hour. Alright, well, doesn't look too bad actually. The owner's still adamant he wants a new board, which is fair enough, and I'd do the same. But yeah, it's not exhibiting drift, and at least right now. It's gone up to 114 watts. But it's not the runaway that we'd usually see in these things where it just goes and takes off. It's curious to me that someone put a 2 amp fuse in it though. Like, I think it is happening, but it's probably over a longer term. The first Sound City guitarists were created in England in 1967. They were reborn by Fryette in 2018. Are they building Sound City amps again? Are they? Give us a laugh and try on the sunglasses. No, I don't like them because they're from a scammer. They send stuff to addresses they got off Google to see if it's actually delivered. It's a new scam to find places to steal from. No, that's not what it is, Scotty. Like, they could just look up my address and they know it's real. Do you mean they order shit and then see if the box sits out front? And if it sits out front for ages, they know it's unoccupied? Because that would be a pretty small percentage. And you'd expect that would occur during holiday period, not when everyone's at home. What it is they order stuff. They create a user account. They put your shipping details in it. They ship the device. The tracking shows that it was delivered. And then they give themselves a mad review. So it brings their ranking up in Google. And they continue to sell utter trash to people. Or that will give them a legitimate air of legitimacy. And it will give them better ratings on Google. And then at some point they switch over and just straight up scam people. Once they've got that positive feedback. Makes them look like a legitimate business. The other thing it could be is identity theft. Well, it basically is identity theft even at that point, but it could be identity theft where they're testing it to see if anyone picks it up and see if they get flagged for it. And if not, they'll continue to use that address to start other accounts and do other shit, and then people will start contacting me asking why I charged them a certain amount or whatever, and I'll say it's nothing to do with me, sorry, until the government actually has some kind of proactive method of stopping identity theft. You're exposed. It's just how it is. It's not my fault that anyone could use my name. It's a fucking public store. I could classify myself as fucking Ronald McDonald, and people would send McDonald's hate mail after they got scammed by me, but it doesn't mean that they've had anything to do with it. Looks like Steve's malcontent show hasn't been on in a while. Is that YouTube? Fryette moved the shop. Just crushed the El Cheapo shades in a vice and shit can them. Yeah, I'd wear them, but they're too small for my head. They're aviators, but they're gold plated. I don't like gold plated anything. There we go. What do you reckon? They make my head look bigger, and that's not something I want to happen. I don't know. I might take them on my camping trip and throw them in the fire if I don't like them. What revision is the board? This board is revision... Fuck, where's the logo? I just saw it. I just saw it. Where? Did I just dream that I saw it? Is it on the other side? I don't know. It's a shit revision, that's what it is. Oh yeah, it's up the back there. It's revision 5. So anything before, I think it was 18 on this model is shit. So it's still sitting around 113 watts. So half an amp at 240 volts. We're sitting at 240.7 volts today. Anything else we want to talk about while this thing cooks? Just joined. Close to quitting time Friday afternoon in Western Canada. on the bench, Marshall JCM 2000 with bias drift conductive board. Yeah, someone's had a go at it, and looks like they might have addressed it somewhat, but it's still coming here for issues, and it had a 2 amp fuse in the HT, so very suspicious. I had that happen to my mum. I got onto Amazon about it. We didn't order this shit, fix it. Yeah, Amazon I think do have some kind of like reporting system for brushing scams, but that's because you're on Amazon, and if you've received something from Amazon, the person who did it was on Amazon as well. I got no fucking idea who this person was or where they were from. The box has just got Zhangzhong shit all over it. Fucked if I know. I don't know what platform it was ordered on. There's no way to find out. I looked up the address, and yeah, other people have copped it as well, but there's no resolution. You can't do anything about it. You ring the cops and say, I received the package I didn't order, and they're like, so? Because they don't care, and they don't even know. They're too behind the 8 ball to even know what the scams are these days. They just go, oh, you got free shit, cool. We go, no, it means someone's using my identity to order shit. And they're like, here, file a report, and then it just goes into a database, and nothing ever gets done. So, you know. Hey bro, I was in the shop the other day. Brandon is my name. Would you have any generic truss rod covers in the shop? What do you mean generic? What, like Ibanez style or Les Paul style? I've got a couple, but I think they're just like random shit that I pulled off guitars that were going in the bin. But I can order stuff and make me look like Halford. Danger zone. I can't wear aviators. Why not, Scotty? Everyone looks better with aviators. You notice that aviators instantly make any chick look hot. I don't know if it's just me. If you've got a chick with wet hair and aviators, straight away, instant hotness. Doesn't matter who they are. It at least adds hotness. I'm not saying that, you know, they become a 10 out of 10, but I've got a big head, so I wear gargoyles. What are gargoyles? 18 revisions, yes. Rev, I forget which one. I think the DSL and the TSL, and then there's the TSL 60. One of them's revision 10, and one of them's revision 18 to 20. I forget which one's which, but yeah, revision 5's guaranteed. But you can tell by the color of the board. The pale green ones are always shit, which is why someone's modified the hell out of this one. But so I've gone up to 114 watts, so it's slow. It's very slowly climbing. But what you might get, since they've removed the grid leakage issue, what you might get now is issues in other areas of the board, like the foot switching, circuit triggering unintentionally, the heater hum, even like the AC heaters finding their way into signal lines, so you get excessive hum over time. Just because you've got rid of the bias drift doesn't mean there's not leakage happening to other things that will cause other issues. You've got low voltages and high voltages together, and AC voltages next to signals, and all sorts of stuff that can lead to issues. Okay, so we're muted because we've got nothing plugged in. Ah, Terminator shades, okay. Yeah, I didn't know the generic term for that. You learn something every day. Shut up. Quite a bit of hum there. Let's put a blanking plug in. So just a plug that's got a direct connection to ground. So it's got a mute circuit on these things, so I want to disable the mute but have it grounded. That might be the lights. Is it the lights? Nope, not the lights. Is it the LED strip light? Nope. So this is an example, more than likely, of the board leakage issue manifesting itself in other ways. Namely, hum. So that there is with the volume all the way down on the clean channel. Bit of crunchiness on the gain there. That doesn't sound like it's just dirty either. That sounds like DC, so let's measure that. So just turn that down. Righto, let's see if we can trace that out. You can't really get to the actual pot pins, thanks to them being those PCB type. Just get a schematic, see what resistor I can jump onto. JCM. TSL. Yay, I do have it downloaded. Alright, what board are we looking at? TL106600. And of course it's not there. They're really terrible schematics to follow. You got connectors everywhere. Crunch lead. Right. So that's connector 2, connector 3, but that's on that board. (6601), 6602. I think that's the one there. Crunch gain. Just show the schematic. Con 3. Crunch volume. Alright, so that's connector 3. And the gain control is the crunchy one. Crunch gain, so that's connector 2. 200K. You got no DC path to pin 1, separated by that capacitor. So we shouldn't have DC on any of them. It's con 2. We don't have DC on them. Fine. So what's con 1? Con 1 is just the LED, right? So con 3, the tone control and the master, or the volume. So let's go to where that connects. Hello? Don't know what happened there. The battery's not dead, it just turned itself off. I'll keep an eye on it. It's always when I'm paying attention to something that it cuts out. Hopefully that just happened recently. But anyway, yeah, so this one, although it's not exhibiting massive bias drift, we'll replace the board because the customer wants a new board on it so it lasts long term. And that way you're basically getting a new output stage and power supply because you've got all new caps and everything. I'm hearing some crackling coming now. But yeah, we'll address that. We'll take out the rear board and have a look at that as well. As I think that hum is probably caused by a bit of board leakage as well. It's not always just the bias drift issue. That's just the most dramatic symptom. Just draining off the HT there. Blue Velvet pots online are fake. Yeah, you've been down that road good, and we were chatting about that. How much is a new board for this? Have a look on CE Distribution for your local pricing for that. I don't know where you are or what currency we're talking. CE Distribution selling, Marshall selling for about the same price. Marshall used to give them out for free. They've stopped doing that recently because they're a bunch of fuckheads. They should be free forever because it's their fuck up. They're acting like, oh, you pesky customer needing parts. It's like, no, you guys fucked up. I'll just see if they've done the speaker mod as well. You can drop these boards out from the other side. There's no need to take everything out, but I want to have a look at the bottom of this board because there's some issues on there. Yeah, 250-ish. To the 250 US is probably the customer cost. Yeah. Don't forget we got shipping. Our dollar is shit at the moment, so and we need to make a margin on things. Otherwise, you make no money, and take all the risk for no advantage. So I put like 20% on parts. Let's have a look. CE distro. TSL. Oh, I've got to log in. So let's calculate. Say I was to order one of these, add to cart, Rev 20, check out. Oh, I already had one in the cart, so now I've got two in the cart. Come on, internet. You can do it. Cart, view cart. Remove. Change quantity to 1. Check out. Yes, shipping. 34.19 ship. So 225-ish US. 225 US to AU. Oh, you fucking piece of shit. To AU. 350 Australian dollars. So 350 plus GST. 385 plus 20%. So yeah, $480 for the board by itself, which is absolutely fucked up. Criminal. They should be taken to court. They should have to retroactively compensate everyone, but musicians are too scattered to get organised in that manner, so it'll never happen. Musicians will continue to get taken advantage of because most of them are not really aware of what their rights are or how to fight them. Hello. The old AA batteries only last like a show and a half. Pretty lame, really. Why does it take so much power? Just burning through more money. Why don't they make rechargeable wireless things? Like, I get the whole we need it to be replaceable on the spot thing, but just got to cut a cable tie there. JCM 2000 DSL50. I don't think they exist. You'd probably have to get that from Marshall themselves. If they're nice enough to still have them. They're probably not. It's probably a bin job unless you can sort something out. A hack fix like this one. Yeah, no, he hasn't fixed that trace either, so that's another weak spot. You got to jump with the two leads there. They do Rode wireless. No one has this mic though. This mic's better than all other mics. I don't care what you say. The Rode, I tried the Rode wireless go and it was fucking just sounded like shit because it's down here. There's rustles against your beard and shit, and it's just muffled because it's not right in front of your mouth. And also it had no isolation from the background music, so it kept getting copyright, not strikes, but copyright claims from the background music. Alright, so we'll get rid of this thing, get a board on order. A bit of housekeeping, champions. They all have connectors for external mics. The new Rode one also has locking connectors. Good for it. You probably need an adapter for this one. I don't know. I just had these in stock, so I I had these in stock for guitar. Because people kept asking for a guitar wireless rig for less than $1,000. So I got the Audio Technica, what is it? System 10, one that just sits on top of your guitar amp, and you got your little lead that plugs into your body pack. So it's one of those things. Oh yeah, if you had one of them, I'll buy one. And then I got them in, and they're like, "Oh, see, it's not $1,000. It's like $500." And they're like, "Oh, sick. Yeah, I'll come back and grab one." And then just never hear from them again. So, you know, people tell you that, "Oh yeah, I'll buy one of them if you had them," and then you order them, and then you're just stuck with the stock. So no one's bought one ever since. But, you know, it's just another thing on the shelf that's soaked up some of my money and will just sit there forever. Yay. Alright, what we got here then? We got a reissue. Last reissue. Yeah. Super lead. Alright, so it's got some mods because next to the one of the speaker outlets says foot switch. Okay, we'll see what's going on there. G'day Lyle, listening to me talk shit and whinge. Poor bastard. Alright, so they've used stainless threaded inserts on the back panel screws. That's cool. I've generally been pretty happy with the reissues from Fender. Marshall. God, I need a holiday, man. I'm going away next weekend. Fuck yous all. I literally am going away next weekend, so you will not have a live stream. Sorry. I'm going to be very far from radio reception. Apparently, this amp was finished by Mike Patton. Faith no more. That's spelled different. Love Mike Patton. Alright, let's get a little thingy for our screws. Chinese food container. We've got 4 EL34s that look good. We've got ruby caps. Did Marshall actually use ruby caps in their reissues, did they? No major discolouring to the valves. Do the old fuse check. .15 as stated. T1A as stated. Happy days. So ask for a deposit. Yeah, the problem is I'm a retail store, so people come here expecting me to stock the world. So if you have an empty shop with order, like pre-order only, no one will buy anything. So people want to walk in and just walk out with something. So retail is one of those things where everyone expects you to act like a bricks and mortar store, but also everyone expects you to charge what you'd charge if you're online only. So people want you to be all things all at once. They want you to be the cheapest online retailer that's got no fixed address, that's just no overheads, to enable you to reach a price point that is competitive. Then the suppliers will only give you stuff if you've got a bricks and mortar store. So that's contradictory as well. And people want you to stock the world. So retail, you kind of cop it up the arse from everyone all at once. But at least my shop looks prettier than a garage with concrete floor and sawdust everywhere, which is what I had before. Alrighty then. Alright, Mod Town. It's got an effects loop. That's the Marshall reissue effects loop. That's not brilliant from what I've heard. It's got a wow. It's got the world's largest relay. It's got cathode sense resistors. Not sure if they were stock or not. It's got a low voltage supply with a dedicated Dedicated power supply and transformer, which doesn't have its own fusing. It's just tapping off the mains fuse there. Nothing wrong with those garage days when you were in the upper left. Was I? It's the biggest change you remember what side I was on. It's got an extra valve. Other than low bit rates. Yeah, I was on ADSL back in those days. I didn't really know what I was talking about a lot of the time either. I gave the impression that I did, but I'll say the same thing in another 5 years. So there's a little tag board, power supply, with some with some filtering. 2 filter stages. And then that is grounded there. Okay, so where's... Oh, fuck. So you've got the other black wire runs all the way up, down the bottom, to the other end, which has got a tag board. So that's an like a Vox style tag board. You've got some carbon comp resistors, Mallory caps. Work looks pretty good. The soldering's top notch. So whoever did this knows what they were doing. And to have carbon comps in stock that are new, not just pulls, whoever did this must be a pretty experienced tech or builder. They've added another valve socket, which is this ceramic one here, and that's tapped into the grid of V1. So maybe this is V-1 we could call it. And a big fuck off relay, which is stuck to the board with some foam tape. So the work's pretty well done, but to know what's happened, like, you know, what this mod is, we'll have to trace it out. I've also changed the, it's hidden behind my face there, they've also changed the cathode follower resistor with a 100K carbon comp. Interesting. Why would you need a holiday from God's country? Well, the holiday is to go to God's country, because Emu Plains and Penrith certainly is not God's country. But it's just to get away, man. Like, it's just been relentless recently. It's just every job's had complications and stuff. But anyway, enough whinging. Same relays as what I'm replacing in the Laney GH100L. Yeah, this is PC pin. So yeah, a weak spot in these is the heater balance pots. So you can usually remove them if you get a because they don't have heater elevation. So the cathode follower gets a cathode to heater short. I've been stuttering when stressed out recently. That's a worry. My brain just short circuits. That's why I need a holiday. So yeah, those pots there, that one's for the bias, but this one here likes to burn. So just replacing them with just 200 ohm heater balance resistors is enough to sort the problem out and prevent it from occurring. Yeah, nothing too hectic in this one. Everything looks okay. Oh yeah, you got pull pots there doing something as well. So maybe that's the switch when you're not using the foot switch. You got two. That one looks like a bright switch, and that one looks like it's triggering the relay. So let's plug this thing in and have a listen. He just said it needs a service. He didn't, but you know what? Customer talk, that could mean anything. Just needs a service. Means, you know, it could mean that smoke comes out of it when he turns it on. It could mean that it oscillates like crazy. It's meaningless words, generally. Set it to, it's already on 16 ohms. Call it V0 following the computer types that start at 0. Yeah, true. V0. What am I doing? Yes. Plugging amplifier in to wall. Turn it off. Considering we don't have a blown fuse, I'm quite happy to just turn it on. Very hummy. I think we need to tighten those bolts a bit. Something's a bit vibratory. Set everything midway except for the volumes and whatever these are. I guess they're like gain controls, I don't know. I'd have to trace everything out and figure out what's going on, but it's clearly added to triads gain stages. Input 1, input 2, I don't know. Alright, let's see what it sounds like. I'll just turn my mic off. Yeah, so it's picking up a bit of hum from the lighting. Just turn these off for a sec. But yeah. Essentially it's got a higher gain front end switchable by this pull pot, so when the foot switch is not engaged or plugged in, you switch the channels with that one there. And I'll just show you that relay close up switching because it looks pretty. You can see it move. So everything seems to be working as designed. Can you hear a little crackling there? So probably just after a service and maybe just get to the bottom of that slight crackling. Address this future problem with the possible problem with the heater supply. And maybe trace the circuit out so the customer has it for future reference. So that you heard there, that was the effects loop, which is solid state. Jay's from Head First Amplification has some upgraded versions of them, which can improve the effects loop performance. But overall, modded amp, but not too bad. Well, it sounds okay for communication breakdown, but can it play any cleans? Probably not. Unless you like your cleans thin and reedy, but that's Marshall, eh? Everyone wants the Fender cleans with the Marshall drive, and I can't blame them for that. Is that a KH Ice Cube relay in that amp I just got here? I have some weird alternating KH bass relays for. It's hidden behind the heart. I can't read that. Compressors. Every time the compressor engages, switches between two compressors. Are you for air compressors? Right. Okay. Don't know, Seth. I do know it's a relay, but that's about it. Alright, now here's a interesting one. Hopefully not a mad horror show, but Hoffman Plexi 50 that a customer built. You just see the job sheet for this one. I can't remember what the symptom was. All right. Okay. So the TSL, sorry, the super. Oh, okay. Super lead reissue. Yep. Modded. Investigate service. Decreasing saturation. Okay. So over the long term, that previous reissue is losing gain at some point. So I'll suss that out. It could be a relay contact issue. JCM 2000 symptom was clean channel increasing in volume as warms up. Okay. Clean channel increasing in volume as warm up. Maybe he meant hum increasing in volume as warm up. I'll clear that. But yeah, it's definitely wanted the new board on that one. Alright, so this one. Okay, hang on, what? This one. This guy has the same name as another customer whose amp I have here at the moment. Wow. Really? Crazy. You gotta watch that, eh? You ring the wrong person. You sound like you're a crackhead talking about a different amp. It's not even theirs. Alright, so once more, clean headroom. Recent hum increasing. Tried tube rolling to address hum with minimal improvement. General check and service. So this looks like it might have been a MIG head in the past. Does that relay induce any hum when engaged? No. It's just more hum because you're increasing the gain like crazy. So that's glued on. Looks like it was a repurposed cabinet from another amp. Maybe recovered as well. I don't know. Maybe he built the cab too. Got handwritten controls on the front. one not labelled there. So yeah, Plexi 50. Let's see how he went. When the air compressors get hot, they start to pass oil, so we let one cool off while the other one runs. Oh, that's cool. Just magnetically holds closed between alternating A or B. Yeah, I had issues with that, Seth, when I started spray painting, because I got one of those cheapo direct drive compressors, and it really heated the air up. So it vaporized the oil and moisture, and it made its way into the air, even through the filter, because it was so heated that the vapor would still go through the filter, whereas if it's condensed before the filter, you'd be better off. So what I did was bought a full length, you know how you buy a copper pipe for plumbing and it comes in a roll? I just bought a roll of that, put a fitting on either end, and sat that in a bucket of water, and that was enough to condense the oil and water before it made it to the filter, and the filter could actually do its job. But it was a big shit show, so that compressor was running its ass off the whole time. When I was spraying a cabinet or a coffee table or something, it would just like run the whole time. So I went and got the biggest one I could get on single phase, which is a big V-twin thing, and it's slower moving with longer strokes, so it doesn't get as hot in operation. And that solved it as well. Didn't have to use the coil after that. I could just go straight into the filter. The best solution is a refrigerant air dryer and filter system, and maybe even a desiccant after that, and you'll get every little skerrick of moisture out of that thing. So this is that wow, this is that security screen stuff you get on screen doors. You can't kick it in like you can with flywire. It's a little bit distorted and stuff. Got bias adjustments on the back, 50 and 20 watt, so probably triode pentode switch. HT 1 amp, mains 2 amp. It should be about 500 mil being a 50 watter. That's a fast blow though, so. Two amp, fast blow. Cladded the cabinet with foil. Not sure why. We've got a Hammond choke and Hammond 1750N and 290GX. So that's the vertical version of the horizontal ones I showed you at the start of the stream that I'm going to use for my plexis. I'm using the horizontal version so I can get the smaller chassis with the horizontal cutout. Right, number 2 Phillips screws. Those were for pneumatic climate controls in very large buildings. Imagine changing all the air lines out from every thermostat and swapping all the thermostats out in a high-rise building. That would be a big contract. These are like self-drilling metal screws. One of the EL34s looks like it's gotten a bit hot. It's lost a bit of its print. Could just be from someone cleaning it though. Electro Harmonix EL34. I'll just get this cabinet over here and remove the chassis. Alright, so looking at the top, we've got galvanized metal, galvanized steel, pretty heavy, really thick. There's some grinding marks around here. Maybe it was repurposed from something else, but the grinding marks seem to be wherever there's a hole, so maybe they just deburred it with a grinder. Subtech, JJ's, JJ's, and 3 caps. Yeah, dual section JJ's. I have to use my blocks. Sometimes the transformers are tall enough on these so you can just stand them up. Alrighty, so we've got a turret board. Just casting an eye over the whole thing. That's why I've gone quiet. So nothing too bad. There's a couple of suspect solder joints and some blobs of solder on the heater. On the heater terminals of the preamp valves. It's got the generic branded SM silver micros, which are very, very failure prone, so we'll probably change them out. The bias adjustment is on a Vera board with some suspect looking pots. Look like they've been overheated. Build date April 2022. Got some bus wire there. I think there's been some grounding confusion. I can already see probably like a half dozen ground loops, which will need to be addressed. It's probably the issue with the hum. Yeah, there's grounds everywhere. We'll have to sort that out. Alright, well, considering we've got the right fuses in there and there's no catastrophic looking stuff and there's no burn marks or anything, I think we can power it up and have a quick listen. Just monitor the power draw from the wall in case something does run away. Speaker out. Yep, they're just paralleled. Just check the speaker wiring's okay. He's got his feedback off the 8 ohm tap. Switch it over to 16. Just check the color codes on that transformer. What was it? 1750N. Yeah, 1750N. Oh, it should say it on the label actually. I can just read the transformer itself. Yellow 4 ohm, orange 8, violet 16. Alright, so we should be on the violet tap. Yeah, that would be. It's furthest that way. Alright, here goes nothing. Put it on full power. Power off. Alright, he's actually gone from active to the fuse tip and then off to the switch like you should. He's doing better than most amp manufacturers in that regard. 260 watts on the heaters. Turn everything midway. I'll turn the master down for now in case there's some dramatic oscillation or anything. Went up to 70 watts, then down to 40 watts. $35 watts idle. Okay, so something funky's going on there. Now it's 60 watts. Maybe they're still warming up. I thought I gave them plenty of time though. Could be a real can of worms here. Possibly. What isn't though? Gooden. Morning, Dad. Alright, so I think the caps for the bias supply, maybe I have to check the resistances there, because that went right up in current and then dropped back down again. Like the bias caps took a while to charge up. So I have to check the values of the dividers there. But it's sitting at like 70 watts, which seems very cold. Let's just take some notes again. So there's no bleeders. No bleeders on the okay, why have I got why have I got 100 volts on one side of the output transformer and 90 volts on the other, even though it's in standby? What's the standby doing? Alright, we'll just turn the mains off for a sec. I just want to get the what am I trying to say? The output transformer primary resistance. So that's down to 8 volts now. Alright, where's our center tap? Alright, so the white on the HT fuse. $39 ohms. And 44 ohms. 44 to 39. Even known to fail products may come with known knowns for the failures. Homebrew products without any documentation are near complete unknown. Yeah, so it's unknown unknowns. Gooden has the tech wrench because he's a moderator, because he's always here, and so does Dr. Gear, because they're bloody loyal ass legends. They're legends, and Gooden will put me in my place if I miss anything or fuck anything up, so it's good to have someone like that around. True moderation. And Gooden, he's a bit of a smart cookie, so he's good to very experienced, good to run stuff by if I say something stupid. Which happens quite often, let's be honest. So, Legends, well, just waiting for this to warm up again. What I was going to say is, I'm away next weekend, but I wanted to do something special for hitting 5,000 subs, because 5,000 subs to your average channel seems like fuck all, but to me it's a pretty big deal. So I wanted to do something a bit different, and producing a video, yeah, whatever. You know, you release it, but to me, I think it demands a live stream of some sort. Now we're sitting at let's have a look, YouTube Studio. How many subs have we got? 4,988. So we're only 12 subs off the 5,000 mark. If it hit today, I was going to do something tomorrow. But if it doesn't happen today, I'll have no time to plan anything tomorrow, and I'm away next weekend, so I'll have to do it the weekend after. But I was thinking about doing a Meet the Champions episode, where I'll throw up a Zoom link, and you all just join up, and I'll choose one of you at a time, and you tell us a bit about yourself, and say g'day. What do you think about that? I think that would be good. Problem is, I don't want to do a drinking stream, because I'd have to start drinking at like midday to hit you guys at like 9 PM. So half of you would have gone to bed by then. And I'd be day drinking and useless for the rest of the day. I can't really afford that these days. I need to work all day, every day. So I was thinking, yeah, call-in show would be cool, wouldn't it? I'll go somewhere more photogenic than the shop, or maybe just the shop. You guys like the shop. And might have a whiskey or two, yeah, why not? Do it on a Sunday, which would be Saturday night for you guys. Saturday night. Alright, let's see. Where was I? Let's see what the voltage drop on the primary is. 1.1 and dropping. .3. We'll go 1.1, 1.3. Where's my pen? Sorry, didn't get the plate voltage. Alright, plate voltage. .455. At 455. .25 milliamps. 11.3 watts, which is 45%. And the other side, 1.3 volts divided by 39 ohms multiplied, it's 33 milliamps multiplied by 455, 15 divided by 25, 60%. So we've got a pretty heavy imbalance between the two, but it looks like you set it up to adjust the bias per side, so we should be able to balance that out. Anyway, let's just have a quick listen. There's an unlabeled pot there. I'd have to trace everything out, figure out what it is, and look at the maybe just look at the layout that he gave us, because it's probably similar to that. Let's turn off my mic. Alright, so there appears to be like 3 volume controls, and everything affects gain, and nothing's really acting as a master, and it's putting out fuck all volume. So that sounds like it's putting out about 5 to 10 watts, if that, at the moment, which is pretty lame. So let's just measure that. It's kind of difficult because my scope died. How can I do this? Let's just feed it a sine wave and I'll listen to it, and I just because I'm on the video, I'll put it on the other bench and measure it properly later, but it's putting out nowhere near enough power. So let's just check the... I don't know if it's an output problem. It seems like the output's biased about right-ish. Not biased right, but we've got 445 odd on the screen, so it's not the screen. I think it's a problem in the preamp somewhere. Possibly a value problem or a layout problem. So this will require some time to go over and just check everything. Tempting to start rebuilding sections, but no. I'll just figure out where he's probably gone wrong with the layout, and figure out what the hell's going on with these 3 different volume controls, because that's a bit weird. So, scope repair. Yeah, right. Just measure plate voltages when noise gets quiet. You found the bad stage, yeah. I kind of want to look at the layout. I don't know that it's a bad stage, Lyle. I've got a feeling that it might be a layout error. Wiring error. But we can do that, sure. So let's set everything midway. Let's put our blanking plug in. No, that's alright. The contact's working. That's V1 and it's loud, 200 volts. 200 volts. Those pins on those ceramic sockets just seem terribly close to each other. I would have liked to bend them out before soldering to them. $55. Okay, so the heaters are sitting at 35 volts. Has he created a heater node? A heater elevation? Yellow and brown. Okay, so that's orange and black. What else is he connected to the heaters? I just have to have a quick look at the color codes of that transformulator. Why do I feel like most would have already noped out on this one? Overhead camera's out of focus. Yeah, what's new? It's Panasonic. Blue, brown, center tap. Okay. Really? No. There is no... What? Oh, black brown. Sorry. Black brown. Black and orange. And center taps brown. Okay, so he's created a voltage divider. Down here on a tag strip with filtering to elevate the heaters. So they're at like 30 something volts. Not a bad idea because you've got a cathode pole over there and some valves don't like it. So I'll probably put this one aside and trace it out, or not trace it out, but go off the layout that he's followed and just see if there's an error before I do anything else, because that's, in past experience, that's the most likely thing. I've got amplifiers encroaching on me. I need to get some out the door, seriously. It's like no free bench space, and you've seen how big my benches are. So I might give it a quick break, champions. Be back in 15, 10. And boil a kettle, all that kind of thing. Go get a drink. I'll see you in a minute. Oh, champions. Smoking lamp is lit. What's a smoking lamp? See you, Scotty. Scope repair. I've got to get the schematic. If you do Zoom, can I bring my dog? Why not? I'm a semi-retired tech, no channel content of my own. Brad was kind enough to make me a moderator, even though I don't moderate or edit the chat. A nice doggy pat on the head, perhaps. It'd be great if you release content good. It's just in fuck it mode. I certainly am, Travis. After this week, I am definitely in fuck it mode. I should post some dog videos. Make some video on useful tools for techs. Yeah. Useful techniques for newbies having trouble with solder. Yes. The problem is what? Ted Kobe did a couple of videos on locating and buying parts. No one really covered that before. Yeah. 470 ohm, 470k. Yeah. So I'll go over the layout, but that doesn't make for very interesting video. Me staring at an amp in complete silence. My only online access is through my phone. My digital skills suck, and I don't have a lot of money to drop on a nice camera or equipment that I would detest the process of learning how to use. You can use your phone. You can do amazing things with a phone. Bought a couple of used DSLRs at a camera shop, 1080p for 15 minutes ago. Yeah, so they've got the recording limits. $30 US, 2 million Australian. So there's a website which is handy, and I found useful for choosing cameras for live streaming in particular. And it also gives you some kind of red flags as to what cameras to avoid. And it's called recordinglimits.com. There's your link. Brad and I use the same amp cradle. I also use the Korg. Yeah, the Korg Yoga blocks. Yeah, they're good. I use them for guitar as well. I built my own out of you go to the hardware store, and they've got these two packs of sounding blocks. You just glue two of them together, and they're good for electric guitar necks. And then the Yoga blocks are good for acoustic guitar necks. You just stick that under the neck so it doesn't rest on the headstock. But yeah, with the Korg, you just glue the two sanding blocks together. You can't even see where it was glued together. And then I'll just linish them to smooth it off, because they're never dead flush. And then just use the linisher to put a little bit of like a mini Yoga block, really. So they're good. But yeah, this is just spotter gum. Recycled spotter gum that I make furniture out of. It's got the old nail holes there from being a flooring bearer. Yeah, the amp cradle just seems like too much fucking about. No, it never did work right good, and so that's why I'm inclined to believe it was a layout or value issue. Recently subscribed. It's good to check you out live. It's normally more interesting than this, David Ross Musical Instruments. I've just had a really shit week, so I'm just trying to chill out. G'day, Dustin. Anyway, let's move on to the next amp, eh? We're not here to fuck spiders. Into the void of the amp storage room. Oof. JCM 900. Dual reverb 4100 head. Rightio, what's the report on this one? Well, I've got a couple of keyboards to get to as well. Channel B, no gain, blank tone. Blank tone. Just purchased second hand. Blank tone. What's that mean? The usual fuse check. Let's have a look. RS components, fuse. 500 milliamp, looks intact. Yep. Milliamp, and it's intact. Continuity. We're looking for a T2A on the mains. Yep, and it's intact. Just always get into the habit of checking fuses first, because every second amp comes in with oversized fuses to try and fix a problem. So let's have a listen to this thing before we even open it up. High power, 16 ohm. Give it some power. I've had quite a few of these in, and I think I've got a good idea of what they should sound like. Turn the reverb down because it sounds terrible anyway. Channel switching appears to work. Oh no, more Marshall bashing. I'm not bashing I'm bashing Marshall because the JCM 2000 boards. Like, do you think that that's a ethical thing to do? Make amps that systematically fail and make the customer pay for your failures? Do you think that's ethical? Because if you do, go buy them all then. Alright, so we dropped down to 80 100 watts, 120, 124, 126, 127. Okay, it took a while to come up. 128. No signal at all. Oh yeah, there we go. Just really bad pot. Alright, so we've essentially got no signal on channel B. There's a tiny bit leaking through there, but a bugger all. And then it's scratchy. Channel A sounds about what I'd expect. Oh, I didn't check the reverb. Shit, hang on. Let's check the reverb. Alright. So no channel B. You already broke your ankle. Broke your ankle? Dragging an amp across... Ugh, there's a dead fly. Gross. Get that away from my coffee. You already broke your ankle dragging an amp across hole-filled music store parking lot. All I need to do is muck about with a pair of yoga blocks. I have a very oddball 1970s Marshall combo in the queue, a 2046 JMP25. It's like the EL34 version of a Princeton Reverb. Wow. I've never seen or heard about them. Definitely sounds like a bit of a weird one. You do videos at all, Seth? I'd like to see the guts of that one. This grill was on back to front. There's like a bottom and a top side when they press it. See, that one's dirtier. That one's normally facing outward because it's got sort of, by virtue of the presses coming in this way, it's got, and the guillotine pushing down this way, it was this side up when it was cut. It sort of naturally deburrs it, whereas the other side is a little bit pointy. Alright, so we've got a quad of Sovtek 5881s. Yeah, this was 5881 in this era. The original LCRs. Date code 96. That would have been the year that I saw the Presidents of the United States of America for my first gig that I ever paid to go to as a 12-year-old. Just holding on to a cable clip there. Oh, it's getting warm in here again. Need to take the jumper off. It's that annoying in between weather where it's cold first thing in the morning and then it's hot soon after. And cold again in the evening. Yeah, you saw them in a small club. Yeah. It's best time. Saw them at the Enmore Theatre, right across the road from Dr. Gear. Okie dokie. First things first, let's give it some power again. There's a mod's taking place there. I can see some parts floating above the board. Just check a few voltages. Maybe see if we just got a dead valve or something. A lot of hum again. I'm wondering if there's something going on with the power today because everything's humming. It might be a DC component to the mains today for some reason. We're sitting at minus 0.9 volts DC on the mains. (241 volts AC). But there's a negative 1 volt DC offset to the mains, which might be why all the transformers are humming today. I remember reading why that occurs, but I can't remember because my memory's dog shit at the best of times. I moved to Seattle in '96, just missed most of the grunge alternative stuff, but there's still a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, that would have been fantastic. It's about when I started getting into music, so I kind of missed the boat there too. And then all the bands I loved, like Soundgarden and stuff, were already defunct by the time that I got into them. So it's very depressing. And then we were around for the butt rock era, which sucked, and it was all you heard on the fucking radio, Nickelback and shit. And Third Eye Blind were good, and Three Doors Down, and all that kind of crap. Although Live was still good. We saw Live are touring again. They're touring right when we're going to be in Japan though. I do like Live. Secret Samadhi was a great album. Very dark, very brooding. I like dark brooding albums. Anyway, enough shit talking. Let's check some voltages. Check your voltage. I'll set the manual range. Just set it to auto range. Come on, meter. 186. Shush. 342. $245. Nothing on the cathode of V2. Nothing on the... Wait a minute. Sorry. 1.5. Just breaking through the flux. There, legends. 1.4. That's a cathode follower. 45 volts on the tail of the phase inverter. Okay, so that's all good. It would be a really good time to have a scope. Spewing. I can't tell a lot on this bench now. I need to move to the other one where the scope is to trace things. Let's just have a quick look at the schematic. Yeah, you would have heard me play some clutch riffs in a video a while back. I probably played Quick Death in Texas riff, I think. I was playing for a little while. What's my choice of music? Hate to be one of those people that says this, but kind of a bit of everything. Like, I just heard the new Kylie Minogue song, and I actually kind of like it. But yeah, just anything that's got a bit of heart to it. I tend to drift towards stoner and doom and sludge metal. But yeah, listen to blues. Yeah, stuff like 70s sort of punk as well. I probably like a lot of what you call butt rock. Marcy Playground were good, better than Ezra. Okay, butt rock's more like you know, like Creed and Nickelback and Smash Mouth, that kind of thing. Aussie Bias, yeah. So, have you had any chance to do anything more with bits you got from Jim's? No, Dwayne's estate. No, I haven't had a chance to do anything. I haven't even had a chance to get the current repairs finished because there's just everything's had some complication that slowed me right the fuck down. So, and then I insist on doing videos, which is kind of dumb, to be honest. Alright, so I'm just going to find a schematic. Was it 4100? Yeah. Bear with me, legends. She feels like she's cooking a bit. Might biased a bit hot. Started listening to All Them Witches. I know the name, but I can't pick what the music is. Sometimes I listen to death metal and grindcore as well. King Parrot. You guys know King Parrot? Again, Aussie bias. They are some funny fuckers. King Parrot. Absolute nutcases. And Blood Duster. Go and listen to some Blood Duster today. It will make your day better, no matter what kind of day you're having. 4100, there we go. Love a bit of Blood Duster. Oh, don't tell me I've already got it. Ah, you fucking... Okay, FileZilla I think can fuck off because it's a pain in the ass. 4100 preamp. That's power amp. And we have a schematic. Alright, so this is one that's got a whole bunch of solid state shit. And you've got a cathode follower. And you've got valve, gain stage there, and then you've got a valve phase inverter. So you've got a cathode follower up front, got 2 gain stages, then a phase inverter. So the problem is likely in the solid state stuff. Excuse me. On channel B. I think that's Michelle just turning up. Is it? Or someone doing a U-turn? I think that was someone coming to the shop and not realising that I open at 9:30 on a Saturday, not 9. So I can stream with you legends. I'll just show you the scam. Alright, so the signal comes in here. Got all solid state up to this point. There's the boost pot. So that is channel B. So I guess they call channel B boost. And there's your diode clipping. It comes down here. Alright, so where's the non-boost channel? VR1. That's channel A preamp. Okay, so that's that channel goes straight into the cathode follower, whereas the boost channel does not. Boost channel output is here and then comes down to the boost pre-EQ. What? Oh, okay, so that's like that's a tone stack, but it's preset. It's pre-EQ, I guess, like preset EQ. And it comes out here and then mixes back in there. Okay, so it's could be a problem in this area. So that's IC4, which is right at the front end there. Let's just check we've got the voltages we want on the supply pins in that area. Okay, so we've got 14 volts. Minus 15 volts, so that's pin 1, M5201. So what are the supply pins? Pin 4 and pin 8. Pin 8's 15 or 16. Pin 4 is minus 16. So they're weird chips. They've got like a control line there. I've never really had to diagnose the solid state area of one of these before, so I haven't noticed it. I thought they were just standard dual op amps, but Let's look up a data sheet. Porn store stiffy. Not quite the vocals you're into. Yeah, it's not the power supply. The DC offset in the mains is caused by local half-wave rectified loads and other asymmetric loads. Isolation, I guess you mean isolation transformer will filter that out. Yeah. All them witches. Ah, yes, all them witches. Yes. So there's a guy out here called Your Mate Bookings. I forget his name. Anthony, I think. But he promotes all those stoner and doom metal bands, and I think he's brought them out before, and I think he's planning on doing it again. He's bringing out oh god, why do I start a sentence when I can't finish it? He's bringing out Your Mate Bookings. Let me have a look now. Your Mate Bookings. Yes. Dozer. He's bringing out Dozer with Jack Harlan. That would be cool. I want to try and get to that if I'm around. So what are we doing? Looking up a data sheet. 5201. M5201 data sheet. Security risk. Fuck's sake. Mitsubishi. Oh, you got to follow a link to follow a link to follow a link to follow a link to get the download, and you click on it and it goes download here, and it's got all these boxes that say download here, trying to get you to click on something to take you to a fucked up website to give you computer aids. Fuck, that shits me. Look, download data sheet. This is the kind of shit you got to deal with when you're trying to look stuff up. Download data sheet. It says DigiKey, authorized distributor, except that's not the DigiKey fucking logo, is it? Download data sheet. Let's see if I get computer aids if I click on that. I think it will take me to the DigiKey looking at the link, but yeah, it's just that if I click that, I'll give me computer aids. It takes me to is it actually? Yeah, it's DigiKey. It takes me to some switches, switch detector. Thanks for that. It's not a fucking data sheet. Did you notice that? It's not a fucking data sheet, even though it says download data sheet. All these data sheet pages are malicious, pretty much. Oh, I've got to enter a fucking code to download the fucking data sheet for a fucking chip. 69992. Thank you. And it's not the fucking chip I wanted. 5201. 5201 AL. Oh, it is. Okay, sorry. I was looking at the other one. So that's the AL. This is the AP. Jesus. All right. So essentially, you've got operational amplifier A and B, and gain can be set independently, adjustable to both applicable to both single and dual power supplies. Am I still streaming? Yes. High gain. Alright, so it's like I don't know why they've chosen that one for this circuit. I suppose they're using that for the switching. Channel 1, channel 2, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so they're using this op amp to do the channel switching as well as being an op amp, which is pretty smart, really. I reckon they're probably obsolete now, though. Okay, yeah, so that makes more sense. So if we look back at the schematic, you'll see pin 1 there, D2. That goes to point C. So where's C? and C here. So that's doing the switching. The diode is connected to a CCC, and then the ones that don't require switching are just like you got 2 in parallel there to drive the reverb tank, get the impedance a bit. So the switching is happening over here. Switching op amp control line to pin 1 of each M5201 via 1N914. So that is switching when you use the foot switch. That is switching all of these op amps between the 2 inputs. The 2 op amps, sorry. So you turn them one on and one off. So that's why it looks like you got 2 in parallel, which wouldn't make sense normally, but that's because one's on and one's off. So you're switching between the channels using the chip itself. So there you go, legends. That makes a lot more sense, doesn't it? And then you've got your normal mixed in here, and then you've got your preset EQ here going through this one and switching between the 2. So we could have a bad chip. We could have one refusing to switch while the others do. We could have a bad diode on one of the switching inputs. And we could have something completely different. So I shall investigate. Is this 4100 on the bench? Just got one of these for pretty cheap. Interested to see a take on what could use some improvements beyond whatever is wrong with this one. The biggest issue with them, g'day Max Power. The biggest thing with them is they've got a solid state front end. A lot of people really object to that. They work alright, you know. Crank them up. Sounds a bit like a Marshall. A little bit more game. Doesn't get you into metal territory, but it'll get you into rock stuff. I think I restored one not too long ago. It was the combo version. It sounded okay. The main folks I've listened to constantly for decades are Ry Cooder, David Lindley, Richard Thompson, Steve Morse. Early faves with the Who, Sabbath, Stones, Deep Purple. Yeah, everyone gets into that stuff. So without a scope, I'm going to be a bit up shit creek on this one, but what we'll do is we'll check where the switching is taking place by looking at the voltages on pin 1. And she's not changing, mate. It's going between 15.3 to 14.9 volt. I get the feeling it should be a bit different than that. 5201. So what's going on there? So we're supposed to have that TR1, supposed to pull that line down via the 47. Sorry, I thought I was on desk chair still. So when you click that, that's the panel switch that I'm clicking. It's got an LED in the switch as well, which is a bit fancy, and I wouldn't want to have to replace that one. So that turns this transistor on. That transistor drags this line down to, should be closer to 0 than 15 via this R5047K resistor. Excuse me. Otherwise, when that's off, it'll be pulled up by this 10K resistor to the 15 volt rail. So this isn't pulling it down, so why not? It's pulling it down very slightly, but not as much as it should. So where's TR1? There's TR1. Got 0 volts. Okay, so that's going from 0 to 1.2 as I flick the switch. Okay, and that's going to 0.5 volts on the output there. But that's not finding its way to the chips. So where are we? R50, R48. We should have a common between R50 and R48. R48, R50. And that's where the voltage is not getting pulled down. Whereas on the bottom of R50 it is getting pulled down. Alright, so is R50 open? What's the resistance of R50? 47k. That's what it should be. What's R48? 10k, which it should be. So from the junction of them, that is our line. What have we got to D9? 0.2 volts. What have we got to D2? 0 ohms, sorry. I said volts like an idiot. Alright, so we've got continuity. So why for you no worky? It's one of those situations where everything seems to work but it doesn't work. We've got about 10 minutes to go, legends, before I'm going to have to cut you off too. It's when we open the shop. Trying to run the shop at the same time as streaming is just a shit fight, so. Maybe C29 is short. No, it's just showing the resistance of the resistor. Gonna have to scratch my head a bit over this one. Could be a cracked solder joint somewhere, but we're getting pretty much 0 volts, 0 ohms from that line to the to all the chips. I remember an old 1990s Japanese glory days Mitsubishi ad claiming Mitsubishi made over 1 million products. Yeah, it probably did. Lift the board, probably a bad solder joint. Yeah, that'll make sense. Problem is that I'm I'm measuring 0 volts from that rail. I keep saying volts, fucking ohms. So if that's not pulling down, yeah, let's have a quick look at the board underneath. These get cracked solder joints around their low voltage supply as well. D4 and D3 are the Zeners. D4, D3. This is why proper troubleshooting doesn't really make for good video, eh? Yes, well. Oh, it's getting really hot in here. I've got my friggin' jumper on, but I can't take it off until I take the mic off. So I'm just waiting until the end of the stream, which will be in 5 minutes. Antique Electronic has sub M5201. Very obsolete chip as well as it subs. Yeah. I reckon probably the whole reason that they use those chips in these amps was because of the switching capability. It would just makes it really easy and simple to switch channels. They were probably spewing when they heard they went obsolete, because they're like, ah, electronics is a nightmare, Brad. Well, it's a living nightmare for me every day. Just check I got no voltages floating around before I go sticking my hands right in there. 8 volts. You've got some heat damage around those two resistors there, and the Zeners. It's all looking good, champions. Don't know, I'm going to have to dig deeper on that one. Have a squint at it for a while. Doesn't seem to be any major reason why it would be getting dragged up to the 15 volt rail unless it was that capacitor leaking, which I suppose we could find out pretty quickly and easily. Yeah, but it's not even pulling it down a couple of volts. It's pulling it down by like 0.2 of a volt, Nige. Yeah, it forms a divider plus the half volt drop across the transistor. Yeah, you'd expect to see a couple of volts at least, but it's not even doing that. The other thing could be one of those chips might be short. Say it's got a Hang on, let me go back to the disk share. If one of these chips has an internal short that's putting 15 volts on pin 1, because of that would forward bias that diode. If this is turned on, that forward bias diode from the failed shorted chip would put 15 volts here, so it would barely change. So it could be a shorted chip as well, and it could be any one of these, because they're all connected to that line, the C line. So I'm betting it's probably that, because again, it's been this week, and why wouldn't an obsolete part go short circuit? Because I can't get it, and it's a showstopper, especially with this design. Do I have some of them in stock? That name rings a bell. 5201. No, none of them. I think I'm getting them mixed up with the M5218, which was the inline op amp. So I'm betting, I'll let you know, but I'm betting that one of those chips is short. We'll try to be a bit optimistic first and see if that cap is doing it, but looking at the resistance across it, I bet it's not. Because of course it would be a shorted obsolete part. Why not? Why not? Embrace the suck. Brad, you have 41 of us watching to the end. Yeah, champions. I still think that, considering my subscribership, it's still, you know, below 5,000. I think it's pretty impressive that we managed to pull this many viewers of a stupid, boring live stream. Thanks for joining us, as always, legends. Remember to like and subscribe. So let's Hail Mary this one. I guarantee it's not the problem, but see if replacing that cap, which is C29, will do anything for us. I guarantee it won't, but it'd be fantastic if it did. JRC 2120D is supposed to be a sub. Yeah, but is that obsolete as well? Mash, like. Yeah, boy. I think it might be a burrito day today. Haven't had one for a day or two. This shit is far from boring. It's educational. Really? Me fumbling around with an amp's educational? I don't know, boys. I've just been feeling a little bit disillusioned the last couple of days, feeling like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. 10 microfarad. Microfarad. Alright, anyone want to put bets on whether this fixes it? I'm betting it doesn't. Because this week, why would it be something simple? What we'll do, while I'm formulating a plan in my head, is power this up quickly. See if it makes any difference. If it doesn't, we'll remove chips one by one until we find the one that's causing it on that C line. Just put the socket nuts back on there. Oh, it's supposed to be open now. Better go, champions. Nah, it's only going by about a volt. It's more than before though. 15.4, 14.1. Let's see if that makes a difference actually. I could look at the data sheet and know what I'm supposed to be seeing, but helps if you turn the signal Jenny on. No, still fuck all. Not enough to switch it. So I'm going to have to go, legends. Sorry. I'd like to resolve this one before I left, but it is what it is. And yeah, you sure can find that chip as long as you buy 8,325 of them. Yeah. Sale on eBay for $11. Fuck me, really? Oh well, I'm going to have to piss off, legends, so I'll talk to you on, I don't know, the next video, the next stream, whatever occurs first. I'm going to be really busy this next coming week, so I'm not sure I'll be able to record any videos, to be honest, but the one after that, I'll be catching up after the four-wheel drive trip. So you might not hear from me for a little while, but don't stress, I'll be back. You know where to find me, and I'll see you then. Hopefully the other blokes pick up my slack and make some stuff to entertain you until I get back, but we'll see how we go. I might get sudden inspiration and release a bunch of videos. You never know. So take it easy, legends. I'll see you on the next one.